Public debt crisis threatens hardship for people in Puerto Rico. The island's a territory of the United States, and many decisions about Puerto Rico's economy are made on the mainland. That's also where you can find a grassroots campaign against the push for austerity in Puerto Rico by its creditors. Part of that campaign is with us tonight. We'd like to welcome a member of the Alliance for Puerto Rico, who's also registered probate in Suffolk County, Felix Arroyo. Thank you very much for being with us.
Thank you for the opportunity for the organization to present their views.
Now, this sounds to many of us, well, it's a little bit like what's going on in Greece. We have a hard enough time understanding what's happening in Greece. So what does this mean for average people in Puerto Rico?
It's more what was happening in the United States in bankruptcy cities, but Puerto Rico has no right to go to bankruptcy. What's happening in Puerto Rico is that over 30 years, the economy was transferred. The agricultural products are now imported from outside. There's nothing to export in that area. The manufacturing area is also in decline, so most of it is import from outside. And there is very little tax base for the government to utilize to do the services from health, education, government services, social services, police. So in many years, they rely on taking loans from financial institutions who were eager to do the honors because they had no state taxes, no federal taxes, and no local taxes. And so therefore, there was what they call a triple advantage. So now what happened is the debt had grown too much for Puerto Rico to be able to comply with it. At this point, half of the Puerto Rican treasurer go to pay the debt. Now, how do you handle the issues of health for the nation? The problem is that the funds don't want to wait, of course. They want their payments to be done. The problem with that is in order to do those payments, Puerto Rico will have to stop many of the programs that they do. Being a territory don't allow Puerto Rico to have the same level of services that a state have, that is in welfare, Medicare, all the health services are partial. The United States covers 60% of what they cover in the States. The 40% other had to come from the Puerto Rican finances. And that's not easy. When you transform that to infrastructure, health, education, safety, all those kind of elements, the burden is very big on a country that has lost its ability to sustain itself. So the governments begin to take the money and do the payment plan and keep paying, but it got to a point where the debts grow too much, $72 billion. And just paying the interest alone become a problem. So the government tried to find solutions to that. And the solutions that were given is, well, you pay us. And in order to do that, you need to reduce the minimum salary to $275. This is all citizens of the United States. Could you imagine a city that determined that they are not going to pay more than $275 per job, or a state that do that? It's a revolution. On top of that, you have to reduce the amount of employees of government, which have been done every year for the last 10 years anyway. And you have to be able to have other austerity measures that allow that money that you use for those basic services to be used to pay us. Now, the finance community legally have a right to do that, but morally we question it, because it means that in order to get their payment, the people of Puerto Rico will suffer levels that are unexpected. As a matter of fact, every year, over 10,000 people leave the island, over more than that. At this point, there are 250,000 people in the last 5 years that have come directly to the U.S. It's not immigration, because it's like a New Yorker moving to Boston, you know?
Right.
They just buy
it's an American territory. Yeah.
Buying an airplane ticket and finish in Miami or finish in New York, come to Boston. So all these people are coming. Many of them to entry-level jobs, but many of them are doctors, architects, engineers, finance specialists, university professors, all the structure of health, all the structure of education is beginning to be eroded just with the immigration, not even talking about the austerity measures. So a group of us decided, we're Puerto Ricans and we have a lot of friends. Let's come together and do something about this, regardless of status. This is not a status issue. This is an economic issue and a well-being issue. So therefore, let's put to the side if Puerto Rico should be a state or it should be a commonwealth or if it should be independence. That's not the issue at hand. The issue at hand is how does Puerto Rican economy survive the issue that there is a debt that is not possible to be paid without really destroying the economy of Puerto Rico in the long run, and how we can come to terms to, we're not saying don't pay the debt, we say restructure the debt, make it feasible to be paid without destroying the economic development of the island. Do an economic plan for long range. Don't go to court yet until the restructuring is done, because if you go to court now, obviously you will prevail, but on the backs of the workers and the economic and social structure of the island of Puerto Rico. I don't think that the stakeholders, stockholders want that. So even when you as a fund may have a responsibility to your stockholders, you also have responsibility of how that process happened. I mean, are you going to kill the golden eggs chicken, they say? I don't know.
The goose that lays the golden eggs.
Goose,
in this case,
okay,
yes.
that's it.
Right.
But you're not going to kill it because you don't have more eggs. I mean, if Puerto Rico cannot pay, your stockholders suffer.
Recently you tried to get the message across to a company based in Boston that's connected with one of the creditors.
Yes.
Has that brought about anything that you're hopeful about?
That's not the only thing. What we wanted is to put a letter in the hands of the company. We were able to do that. They control the Oppenheimer funds, which is one of the biggest funds where the debt is what Puerto Rico owe. But what happened is that they are advocating for the austerity reform. That austerity reform is the basic of destroying the economy in order to pay them. And that may happen for 2 years, 3 years, but eventually there will not be any funds to pay from. Particularly if the people who have businesses, the people who are professional, leave the island, what is the tax base that Puerto Rico will have? So we're asking them to just sit with the government of Puerto Rico in good faith, not only understand the issues that affect the stockholders, but the long-range effect on the stockholders and of the island of Puerto Rico. They have to look at this as more of their interest in business. They have to look at it as a human issue that is affecting everyone, including them.
Thank you very much for being with us.
Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity.
Felix Arroyo from the Alliance of Puerto Rico.